back to my YouTube channel. If you're new here, my name is Tin and I'm an aspiring software developer. This video is unfortunately one of the last video for season 1, excluding the finale, which is the next video. This video will be the last one of the season. I've had so much fun filming season 1 for you guys, coming up with ideas and basically scheduling myself to shoot season 1, and it's been a fun season to film for you guys. And throughout the season, I hope you guys learn a thing or two about programming. However, let's get back a bit emotional there. Let's get back to this episode. This episode will be on creating multiple pages, navigating to them, and adding certain event handlers for your Ionic app. Before filming this episode, I have taken the liberty to test and run the app, and downloading everything that I need to download and making sure that the app works before filming it. But I will retrace my steps and explain it in detail, and that you guys could follow the step in a sequential way. So the first concept that I want to introduce you to is how to create a page in your app. What you would want to do is to open up where you have installed your app. So say for example, if your app is called new app, open it up either on your terminal or the integrated terminal in VS Code. And what you would want to type in to when you're creating a new page is the following command. So it's Ionic G for generate, not global. I know when you're installing Ionic for the first time, you probably have set G, but G in this case is generate. And when you're generating a new page, all you need to do is generate page and the name of your page. Okay, let me explain in detail what this command line is really about. So we all know Ionic. Ionic is just letting the computer to know that you're pointing at the Ionic command line. G is, like I've said, generate page. So here's the thing. When you're using this command and you want to create different modules or different components, or even if you want to create a service for your Ionic app, then the word page would be that word. There is a whole list of different examples that you could do in terms of what you want to generate. So now that you understand what these 3 words mean in your command, contact is just what you want to name your page. So as you can see here, I've named it contact. So once you've clicked enter, you will probably want to wait for a few minutes. Again, it depends on the speed of installing on your computer. And then once you have installed it successfully, this whole directory right here would pop up. There are several key important pages in your newly created contact directory. 3 of the most important pages at this moment would be your HTML, which is how you're gonna be constructing your page on your app, your module.ts, which is module.typescript, and your page.ts, also TypeScript. The first thing you would probably want to do is importing routes. At a base level, routes would allow you to navigate to those pages. If you navigate to your module.ts for your newly created page, import the following command. So routes and router module from Angular/router. And so after you have imported the route, make sure that you also import line 25 right here. Then what you would want to do is go to page.ts. You would probably see something like a selector, and it's pretty much the same thing as over here. It will be something like selector app/contact. Remove that line. Basically what the selector line does is it's showing which page on your app is the app's root page. So for this specific app, my root page is my home page, not my contact. Now, what you would probably want to do is for your app to have certain event handlers and how to navigate to your newly created page. So for example, if you see on my app, this is my home page. If you click onto contact, then you would see an account page where there's a list of different contacts. Barnaby is actually, my pet dog in Vietnam. And then as you can see, when you navigate back to the home page from the contact page, an event handler is signified and it increments the count. So as you can see, that's 3, that's 4, and yeah, how do you approach that? The way to approach is if you go to your home page, for example, set up an Ion button. An Ion button is the way that I press that contact button, which is over here, and then what you will want to do is to have a click. It's like a handler. It calls upon this access function. Now, if you go to your page.ts, you would then create an access function. And then, see, the thing is, in the beginning, when I was explaining what router and route does earlier, this is where you would do it. This is a path to your contact. And the path depends largely on how you have set up your contact originally. Now, on to how to create an event handler. This is probably why I like TypeScript syntax so much, is because in other languages, this is how you initialize a variable. So I have a variable count here, and then I have another function here that says increment counter, which is to increment my count every time I press on the Ion button to navigate to the contact page. And for TypeScript, especially for type languages, they would have number, where number is a type, and you can initialize count to be a number, and the initialization will be 0. And for example, say if you're developing on a larger scale project where it's like super massive and you have a lot of pages and you have a lot of variables and that you need to remember so many things, having a type language like TypeScript that has these types is super useful, because if something were to go wrong, then you can always go back to it and understand what went wrong, especially if it's a typed error. After you have initialized count, then you can increment count here. So this refers to a specific instance. So when the code looks at this file, they will be like, oh, line 16, this dot count. And then they'll be like, what is this dot count means? Oh, that's right. This count is incremented by 1 whenever the user presses on the button and the event handler is activated. So now you have set up your event handler and your navigation. Where to next? Well, you need to have a back button in case the user wants to go back to the home page. And so the way to set up a back button is to go into the Ion header and use the Ion toolbar to set up an Ion buttons. It is different to Ion button because this is a button. You can have multiple buttons in your toolbar, and then slot start means the placement of your button is start, so it's on the left hand side, and all you need to do is to have an Ion back button, and the rest is just a list. Another concept to introduce to you guys. If you guys go outside of your home and your contact directory, but still within your app directory, you would probably see something like app routing module.ts. Now, what this module.ts does is that it handles all of your routings. So when I created my contact page, it will be automatically updated into your app routing.module.ts. But why is this path empty? This path is empty because if the path is empty or hasn't been defined, then home, see the word redirect to, home would be redirected. So if your user first launches your app for the first time, or after they have exited and launch it again, then your app would redirect to home page. Now, the next bit is very important as well. It's on line 14. This is called an interpolation. And what an interpolation does is that if you don't have this interpolation here, then whenever, let me just remove this for now and just have an Ion item says contact attempts. Okay, so if you didn't have an interpolation there, it doesn't get to be incremented. Let me explain why. If you go to home.page.ts, and if you see home.page.html, then the interpolation is calling upon the count variable that you have initialized here and you have used here within the increment counter, and so that the app knows that whenever the user presses on that button would increment that count, and then you would end up with an app like this. So boundary be the pub, and you go back and forth, you would see it. The event handler is being called upon, and everything is working smoothly. But yeah, that's it for this video. As always, I hope that you learned a thing or two throughout watching this video. And yeah, I'll see you guys next time. As always, the code on this video will always be uploaded onto GitHub. Thank you so much for watching, and I can't wait to show you guys what I have in store for season 2. Until then, stay safe everybody, and I'll see you soon. Bye.